Hi crochet friends, welcome back to Alice's Crochet Corner. Today we are going to be making this very lovely mesh headband that's very quick to make and also perfect for beginners. You can use any type of yarn you like for this project. You can adjust the size of the headband easily, and throughout the pattern I will teach you how. These are the materials that I will be using in our tutorial today. I am going to be using 10 ply 100% cotton yarn, and I used about 10 grams, and with that I am using a 3mm crochet hook, but again you can use any type of yarn you like to crochet this project. We will start by creating a slip knot, and how I like to do mine is I twist my yarn to form a loop and grab the tail end of the yarn to pull through that loop, insert our hook and pull tight. After our slip knot, we are going to go ahead and chain 40. To do a chain, we wrap our yarn around our hook and pull through the slip knot, and that's one chain. This is 2, 3. I'm just going to go ahead until we have a total of 40. I've chained 40 and it measures about 21 centimeters or about 8 inches. I think 20 centimeters is a good length, but if you would prefer it to be longer or shorter, feel free to adjust your number of chains as you need. And this will be the length of one side of the string, which will help us tie our headband across our head. After we have chained 40 or however many number of chains you did for your string, we are going to add 2 more, so that's 1 and 2. Next we are going to work a double crochet into that third chain, so we don't count the chain on the hook, which means that's our first, second and third chain. To do a double crochet, we wrap our yarn around our hook once, insert our hook into that third chain and we pull up a loop. We now have 3 loops on our hook. We wrap our yarn around our hook and pull through 2 loops, and we wrap our yarn around our hook and pull through the remaining 2 loops. The 2 chains that we skipped at the start counts as a double crochet, and then we did a double crochet just then together. We want to have a total of 5 double crochets in that chain, so we are going to go ahead and do 3 more. This is our third double crochet. We wrap our yarn around our hook, insert it into that chain to pull up a loop, wrap our yarn around our hook and pull through 2 loops, wrap our yarn around our hook and pull through the remaining 2 loops, and we will now work on our 4th one into that same chain. That's our 4th one done, and we're going to go ahead and do 1 more. And we now have a total of 5 double crochets into that third chain. For our next row, we are going to chain 3. 1, 2 and 3. And this counts as a double crochet and chain 1. And so we will turn our work, and then we will work a double crochet right underneath those 3 chains. And you can see that that's created a little space for us, which is starting to show the mesh pattern. And then we will chain 1 and work a double crochet into that next stitch again, afterwards we chain 1, then we work a double crochet into the next stitch again, and then we chain 1, and then we work a double crochet into that last stitch, and that is our second row done. And you can now see more of the mesh pattern forming with the space between the double crochets. We will now be working on our third row, which is going to be the same row repeat. And so to start, we chain 3. And again, this counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. And then we turn our work and work a double crochet right above the double crochets we have done in the prior row. So I'm just gonna insert my hook right above the double crochet from our last row, and then we chain 1, and then again I insert my hook right above that double crochet. I chain 1, I do it again. I'm going to insert my hook right above that double crochet and chain 1. Now what you'll notice is that it's not as easy to see the top of the stitch when we've reached the chain 3 that we did at the start of the last row. So sometimes twisting it might help a little bit, or turning your work might help you a little bit, but remember that's our first, second and third chain. We're always doing a double crochet into the second chain. So that's this one here. Just like that. And so that is our third row done. And again, the pattern from here on is going to be exactly the same as what we've done for the third row. So I'm going to do a couple more rows with you. Chaining 3, and then turning our work and working right above the double crochet. Then again, this is our second chain, so I'm just doing a double crochet into that. Beautiful, and that's our fourth row done. Chaining 3, I'm going to turn our work and now work on our fifth row. From here on, we will do exactly what I've done from the third row onwards until I have reached a length that can wrap around my head comfortably. And that can be as many rows as you need. And then I will be back to show you how to do the other side of the headband. I am now ready to do the last 2 rows of our headband, and just for size reference, I'm looking at about 40 centimeters in length, and if you need, it's about 15.5 inches, and feel free to adjust the number of rows as you need. To do the second last row of our headband, we wanted to look similar to the one we did at the start. So to do that, we chain 2 and then we turn our work, and we will only work a double crochet right above the ones from the last row. So we're going to skip this one and then just work into each double crochet stitch from the last row, and we don't chain 1 in between each of these. And then the very last one, we're just going to work a double crochet around those chains. To our last row, we will chain 2 and turn our work, and then we will skip that space underneath and decrease 4 together. So to do that, we wrap our yarn around our hook, insert it into that next stitch, and we'll pull up a loop, wrap our yarn around our hook and pull through 2 loops, then wrap our yarn around our hook and insert it into that next stitch, and then pull up a loop, wrap our yarn around our hook and pull through 2 loops, and then we'll wrap our yarn around our hook and insert it right above that next stitch as well, and pull up a loop, wrap our yarn around our hook and pull through 2 loops, and then we are going to wrap our yarn around our hook and insert our hook in between that last space and pull up a loop, wrap our yarn around our hook and pull through 2 loops. We now have 5 loops on our hook, and then we wrap our yarn around our hook and pull through all 5 loops. And so you can see that the last 2 rows looks almost exactly the same as what we did at the start. And after we have done that, we are just going to chain however number of chains we did at the start. So for me, that's 40. So I am going to pull my yarn to do 1 chain and chain a total of 40. I've just finished chaining 40, so now I'm going to grab my scissors and cut our yarn, and then we can weave it through and pull tight. I really love how cute the headband is. Now before we finish off, what I like to do is just cut our yarn so that the ends are nice and even, and I like to leave about this much at the end, making sure that they're even. And there you go. Thank you so much for crocheting with me today. I hope you really enjoyed today's tutorial, and if you did, please comment down below what colors you ended up making your headbands. Thank you once again, and I'll see you next time.